All right, so moving on back to Rachel. What happens to Rachel is this, and it's kind of a tale of tragedy, but I want to bring this up because this could be any of us. So this became Rachel's house, really of no fault of her own, just paralysis. The trauma of her sister's loss set in. And as a result of that, she didn't get rid of stuff and it just kind of piled up. Well, the other tragedy was at work, there's this really hot guy, and she was going to have a relationship with him. And every time he would come over to the house, she did not invite him in. And she did not invite him in because we just saw what the inside of her house looks like, right? So on the outside, she's got this really nice put together package. And on the inside, there's a whole bunch of hidden shame from the paralysis of not knowing what to do. And because of the shame, she didn't want to invite him in. So instead of saying, hey, listen, I am going through some personal stuff. I need to work through it, but I've got all my stuff and then all my sister's stuff, and I'm frozen in time and I don't know how to deal with that. Please don't hold that against our relationship, right? We talked in several of these episodes that we're having about starting to be honest with ourselves and starting to have those tough conversations. That would be a tough conversation to have. To say, hey, listen, I'm now addressing hoarding issues that I've never dealt with before. I don't want this to become the new normal for me. And so in the process of our relationship, I need you to be aware that I'm dealing with this. Okay. If there was an honest conversation, he might say, let's get help together. Or he might say, can I help you? Or he might be able to be empathetic, right? There are options when you are honest about your situation. But she was not honest about her situation. What happened in this particular situation is because every time you would bring her home and she would kind of like push him away, he took it as you're not interested in me, and he left and the relationship ended. So now the paralyzing behaviors from her hoarding or her clutter ended the relationship. What's also interesting is, like I said, she was up for the job promotion, but because this was her house and this is what she's dealing with, she was not able to clean out her stuff in a timely manner. And because there was no timely manner of cleaning out her stuff, she was not able to move on the schedule she was supposed to move on. And as a result of that, the job promotion went to someone else. So not only did the clutter cost her promotion and her relationship, but now we find her sleeping in her car. And I say this is a sad situation, but she's sleeping in her car because that's comfortable and it's a safe place. And she doesn't have to deal with all of that stuff, right? So what I want for us to start to look at is there's a domino effect that happens when we're paralyzed. And sometimes paralyzing from declutter comes from lots of things. It can come from PTSD. It can come from stress. It can come from, we bought valuable items and paid a lot of money for it. This happened a lot during the pandemic. People bought a lot of things to kind of, make us feel like we're cool again because everyone is focusing on social media and everyone on social media is cool and has cool stuff, except we don't. We have like weird, odd stuff that's not cool. So we bought a lot of stuff, paid a lot of money for it. And now we find ourselves in a situation where we've got too much stuff and boxes of clutter, right? So her safe place now is sleeping in her car. And then even worse than that, she's showering at the gym because she can't even get into her bathroom anymore, right? So this is a little bit of a tragedy because we're running into all sorts of different kinds of problems that we've never dealt with before because of being unsure of ourselves. Like what happens next and how do we get rid of our stuff, right? And what are the physical symptoms if you're sleeping in your car and you're not eating right, you're not sleeping?
Having a house full of clutter has increased my stress levels. I've started having panic attacks and other physical symptoms, like headaches that last for days. I have insomnia and can't sleep at night for worrying, but I just can't seem to get started on cleaning up the place. What can you recommend for me?
All right. And again, this is not something that she planned. This is just a residual effect of where she ended up with her stuff. Now, we talk about the stuff, and this is probably an extreme situation. Not everybody's house is like this. This is actually from a job that came in this last week, and the extreme cleaner that sent it to me was able to clean up the property. And by cleaning up their property, it was a $12,000 job. And they were sharing it with me by saying, what can I do to help people that are in this situation? Because first they're paralyzed. And at first it just seems like, oh, it's kind of, I'll deal with it later. But as it piles up and as it gets worse day after day after day, it's costing people their jobs, their relationships. It's costing them $12,000 to clean it up. And then for what? For what, when we could actually be in a process of working through that right now?